So let's start with the type 4 oncelops. Okay, again in type 4, just like any other type, I get a statement. Okay, but in type 4, instead of one statement, here I get two statements. Okay, so in the earlier types, we saw one statement and the conclusion associated with those statements. Now in the type 4, we get two statements. Now, what are my two statements? First is sum ARB, and second is no B C. So now I have three entities, A, B, and C. Earlier I had only two quantities and I was comparing them and getting the conclusion out of it. Now I have three quantities, A, B, and C. Okay, and now I'm being asked the conclusion associated with it, and conclusion, as we know, is something that we can say with absolute surety, but in this case after reading this two statement. Okay, so after reading this two statement and combining them, what is it like? I can say absolute surely about A and C. So if you can observe this carefully, sum ARB is our what? Let's go it here. Sum ARB was my type 2. Okay, sum ARB was my type 2, for which we already saw what was the conclusion associated with it. Okay, we had seen what is the conclusion. Sum ARB means sum BRA, and no A is B is my type 3, and we already know the conclusion with that as well. In this case, when I come to type 4, I am combining my type 2. This is my type 2 along with type 3. Okay, and I get a type 4. So please remember by this sequence. It may sound like I'm sounding really simple here, but this will help you a lot in problems, because the exams that you are writing, you need to get the answer quickly, and remembering it by the means of type will reduce your time to draw the diagrams. Okay, you won't have to draw the diagram because you remember the type as well as the conclusions. So remember it like the way I'm presenting it here, because there is a reason for that. As we enter into the problem, we saw two statement, two conclusion, three statement, three conclusion, four statement, four conclusion, and that's when remembering this type will make your job easier and it will be quicker to solve the problem. Okay, so remember it in this way. Type 2 and type 3 are combined to form my type 4. Okay, so I use the two statement here, sum ARB and no B is C. Now what can I say surely out of this? So again, let's represent this by the means of a diagram. Sum ARB means I'll draw it in this way. My A is my red, so I'll put the red here. Then I'll go for my B and I'll draw my B here, so that becomes my B. So this is my sum ARB. B is my blue here, and if I have to draw the intersection associated with it, so it would be this green part, which is my sum ARB. No B is C. Okay, so let's now draw about this. So if this is my, say, C, which is quite isolated here, and I need to draw for C now. Okay, I need to draw for C now. So let's go with this now. So I'll come here and draw for C, and C is representing my, say, pink here. Okay. So what did I do with this now? I drew for A, I drew for B, and I drew for C. So this is my A, this is my B, this is my sum ARB, this A intersection B, A and B, and this is isolated C, which is being drawn here. So no B is C, right? No B is C. So they are not at all associated. Now what is it like I can say about A and C? Okay, why are we not talking about A and B? Because this is my type 2, I already know the conclusion for this. This is my type 3, I already know the conclusion for this. But now I'm combining the two. Okay, and that's where it is different. If I combine the two, I need to conclude about A and C. I need to conclude about A and C. So what is it like? I can say surely about A and C after reading this statement. So what can you say about A and C? So first, whenever you're confused, first write about A and B. So what can you say about A and B? You can say sum ARB. Yes, you can say this, okay, because it's my statement. Now no B is C. So no B is C. So can I cut this B now? Can I cut this B and write here not C? And write here not C. So what is it like? I get the conclusion out of it. I get the conclusion sum A are not C. Yes, sum A are not C, and it is quite true as well. Now let's see sum ARB, which means this part. and no B is C, which means this A which are B as well. So I can surely say what some A which are B are not C, or I can say some A are not C. Correct? I can say some A are not C, and this will surely happen. This will surely happen if I combine this two statement of 2 and 3 to form a type 4. Okay, so remember this now. Type 2 and type 3 gives me type 4, and which has only one conclusion, some A are not C. And how do I write this? This is the easiest way. First write some A are B. Okay, then cut this B and ask yourself a question. Okay, can I write this as not C? Yes, you can write this as not C because no B is C. So the obvious conclusion which is there at the last is some A are not C. Some A are not C. And that turns out to be my conclusion for type 4. And can I say this surely after looking at the diagram? Yes, some A are B. So the A which are B are not C. So some A which are B, which is this intersection I'm highlighting in pink right now, are not C. So remember this type 4 and the conclusion.